What's going on, guys? Josh here, Momentum Productions, and we are back here with another live stream up on YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about a brand new gimbal that I just got. It came in the mail yesterday. Didn't get a chance to play around with it or even open it until today. And as soon as we have some people tune in, I'm going to take out this gimbal. I'm going to show you how it works. Obviously, I'm going to have a professional video shot, a professional review made about this gimbal, and I'll also have some professional footage, test footage to show you. But today I just want to cover some of the basic features, my overall impressions of the unboxing process and the case, the materials that everything is made out of. So I will reveal the gimbal just as soon as we have a few people tuning in and commenting, and we will get started on this live stream. So thank you so much for tuning in. This will be a lot of fun. And we'll just wait a few moments here for some people to tune in here. Okay. Welcome, everybody. So let me go ahead and show you this gimbal. This is something pretty cool. This is from a company called FOSICAM. Here it is. Look at this baby. She's a big one, but she's also not a big one. I mean, in the sense that it looks big, but it's really not. I would say it's a little bit smaller than the Jew and Crane. However, it has this really neat feature where it has this 45-degree roll motor in the back. And the reason why gimbal manufacturers are offering this option is so we can have a full look at the LCD display on the back. So if I turn on the camera, I'm going to see everything. No obstruction view here. So this 45-degree angle motor is really well placed. Now, the only issue I see with having a gimbal that has a 45-degree motor is that you're changing the pivot point of the roll arm, of the roll axis. So you can't really make, you can't really make a full 360-degree spin on the roll axis here. You can see how the camera like turns a little bit. That's the difference between having a 90-degree roll motor and a 45-degree roll motor. You're going to get that completely different pivot point, and so you're not going to have that same effect. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and I'll show you a shooting mode that is on this gimbal that no other gimbal has, and it's similar to, it gives you a similar look to a Glidecam. So let's go ahead and turn it on. There's a little switch on the side here. No buttons, it's just switches here. All right. Now this gimbal runs off of Basecam software, meaning that this is software that is used in all professional gimbals. The first gimbals that were made for production, they use Basecam software. So the King TV gimbals use Basecam, Pilotfly uses Basecam, and FOSICAM uses Basecam. Okay, this is software that can really damage your gimbal if you don't know what you're doing. So if I were you and you were to buy this sort of gimbal, stay away from making any changes if you don't know what you're doing, because you will damage it. And when I say you will damage it, you are definitely going to damage it. You can get to the point where the motors will overheat, then short out, and you don't want that to happen. So here we have the gimbal. I mean, it does a really nice job of stabilizing. Now, one thing I really started to notice with this kind of gimbal is, and this goes for I think all 45-degree roll arm gimbals, that is, you cannot go into inverted mode like you can every other gimbal, like the Jew and Crane, Moswa Air, the Fayutech. You can't just go into inverted mode by going like this. The gimbal's going to trip out. However, you can go into inverted mode by just tilting like this. Okay? This is considered inverted mode on the gimbal. You can't just simply pivot this direction, because you're going to have a tough time going into inverted mode, then the gimbal's going to start shaking like this. You need to go into inverted mode simply by, basically, if you're tilting down. That's the only way you can go into inverted mode. You see that? And it's very quiet, there's no shaking, and it doesn't trip out because it was designed to have this sort of inversion. So that's one thing that you got to keep in mind there. I think it has to do with the 45-degree angle design. I don't think it has to necessarily do with the software, so I think that's why. Now there's a really cool shooting mode that I love. I have pants in the background, so just, you know what, let me toss that away. Yeah, so sorry about the mess, guys. Just wanted to do a quick live stream with you. But anyway, if we go into mode 4, shooting mode 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is basically what I like to call the Glidecam mode, because this is a shooting mode no other gimbal has, and that is we can actually control the roll arm simply by tilting it in any direction you want. You don't have to use the joystick at all. I'm not using the joystick here. The gimbal is following my roll. If I'm leaning to the left or leaning to the right, the roll follows me. And that is great because that's exactly how a Glidecam behaves. So I can get more of that Glidecam look with this gimbal than I can any other gimbal. So this is basically the best hybrid out there when it comes to using a gimbal and a Glidecam. This gives you that cool Glidecam look, and I absolutely love it. Now, here's how the control buttons look like. We have a home button, mode button, joystick, and we have a picture-taking button in the front. This gimbal also comes with all of the necessary cables to power on your camera, to keep it powered on, to keep it charging. And it also comes with an infrared sensor cable, which means that you will be able to start and stop recording. This is something that no other gimbal has. Every other gimbal that I've had has a certain cable that is responsible for starting and stopping the Sony cameras, but none of them work. The only cable that worked was the one that came with this system, and that was the infrared cable. So keep that in mind. What else can we talk about here? We have a dedicated shooting button. This is a shooting trigger in the front. I love that. This is they put this in the front. It's you know, it's very comfortable. The handle is plastic, but it's not cheap plastic. It's very thick plastic. They made it plastic so this system would be a lot lighter. And the grooves and the rubber that they included on the handle, it's very comfortable. I mean, I could squeeze this handle really hard and you're not going to hear that weird cracking noise that you're usually going to get out of plastic handles here. I can move the gimbal extremely abruptly, and it's not going to trip out, it's not going to jitter, it's not going to make that weird humming noises. Sometimes I hear those humming noises on the Jewin Crane, and the Moswa Air is the loudest gimbal I have, actually, but that's a software issue. But anyway, very, very well-behaved gimbal. Another great feature of this gimbal is that I can position the axis with my hands. So I can just simply hold down the roll arm like this, and the camera will stay there. Okay, no other gimbal on the market does that except for the Basecam gimbals. So other way, you know, the camera's gonna stay there. Then I can just press the home button if I want to reset the camera. It's gonna reset, play a little tune, and that's fantastic. I can also do the same thing with the tilt, so I can push down, and it's just gonna stay there. And then I can reset it by pressing the home button. See that? I love that feature because sometimes the joystick, you know, joysticks in our gimbals, they're just very irritating to reset the camera. So I like to hand position the axis sometimes. Alright guys, we have some comments coming in. Finally, Jamel, what's up? Would you consider this better than a gimbal than you'll have to operate with two hands? No, I always prefer using two hands instead of one when operating a gimbal. So, yeah, I mean, they have gimbals out there that they're going to be eventually sending me. They're still in beta. So, they will be sending me gimbals that have the dual hand grip. They have a gimbal coming out that will be competing with the Jewin Crane 2. Not the version 2, but the 2. It's going to have follow focus features. And in my opinion, I think it's going to kick the Crane's butt because I've seen pictures of it and I've seen the features of it, and it's absolutely outstanding. Outtime is asking, how many gimbals do I have? I have the Kane TV Argo, Juin Crane version 2, Feiyutech A2000, FOSICAM FM1-45, the Moswa Air, and the Juin Smooth Q. So right now I have 6 gimbals, and then I have 3 Glidecams. So I have a lot of gimbals. So I'm starting to really get an opinion on all of them. There's certain good points about certain gimbals, and then other gimbals have negatives and positives, all that sort of stuff, right? So I'm gonna have a master video coming out. It's gonna be rather long. I'm probably gonna release segments of it each time, talking about each gimbal and which one I think is the best one for you. Again, like I said, I have 6 different gimbals. 1 is for the iPhone, 5 are meant for like DSLR cameras. So we're going to be making a video. We're going to make a lot of content in the next couple months specifically on gimbals, because gimbals are expensive. They're not cheap, and you want your investment that you put into these gimbals to last you for as long as you do filmmaking, okay? Now, one thing I don't really like about this gimbal, and it's the same issue with the Feiyutech A2000, is the tripod that it comes with. It's plastic. It's better than the Feiyutech gimbal tripod, but this one, it's I don't like plastic tripods. They're, when I have a $5,500, $6,500 camera on here, I don't want to rely on, a plastic tripod. That's not really what I want to do. So easily you can replace that. Another thing that I don't like is that, this is a brand new company, so I'm not going to be too harsh on them. They're still in development. They're still working on a few things here. There's some exposed cables. We have an accessory mount on the right side of the handle here. You guys probably won't be able to see this, but in this accessory mount we have a nice accessory mount, but inside the accessory mount, if you look deep enough, there are wires dangling around in there. So if you put a screw long enough, you might actually hit one of those wires. So I'm talking to the manufacturer right now. I'm going to tell them my concerns about the gimbal. Hopefully they're going to fix that. Hopefully they'll be able to hide those wires somehow, probably put them in some tube or some casing, and then use adhesive to put it and tape it on one of the sides of the handle, so that way you won't be able to hit it with a long screw. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. Another thing that I don't really like is that it doesn't have an external battery, meaning that the battery is fixed inside the handle. You can't remove it. You can't put in your own batteries. So eventually the battery will degrade. And once the battery degrades, you're going to need a new gimbal. So not a big fan of that. However, the company gives you 24 months of warranty, which is the longest warranty I've ever seen on a gimbal. Usually, gimbal manufacturers give you 1 year maximum, and that's just on labor. They probably, you won't be able to, they'll probably charge you for parts. So this manufacturer covers 2 years, 2 complete years, parts and labor, no problem. So I like that a lot. Yeah. And we have the basic functions just like the Juin Crane when it comes to controlling your camera. We have a nice little input back here where you can just hook up your camera and just control everything through the control area right here. But overall, I think I really like this gimbal. I used to have this gimbal. Last month I received this gimbal, and as soon as I powered it on and started messing around with it, the gimbal shorted out on me. I talked to the manufacturer. They said that some of the wires might have been defective, so this happens. I didn't get mad. Technology always ends up failing at times, so I didn't get mad. They sent me another version of the gimbal, and this one seems like it's doing a great job. And overall I really like it. I haven't done any test shooting with it, but I've turned on my camera, I've seen how it behaves, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's answer some questions about this gimbal. Let's see what you guys have for me. Todd is asking, how much is it? This is $500. So currently I think it's the cheapest gimbal out there. I think it's worth it, to be honest. But I would hold off until my full review video, which should be coming out in about 2 weeks. They are still working on some of the software bugs, some of the engineering bugs, and plus we have a Crane 2 competitor coming out from this manufacturer. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be phenomenal. Again, I've seen pictures of it. The manufacturer sent me the pictures, the specs. It's going to flip the Crane 2 on its butt. I'm telling you right now, it's going to destroy the Crane 2. So this company really knows what they're doing. So this is just a little taste of what the company is capable of. Okay? So the company is called FOSICAM. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube. Again, they're they're a brand new company. They're kind of small. So that's where they're at right now. Halvin Wolf, what's up, man? Geo Movie NL, I pre-ordered the Jiwon Crane 2. Have you already tested it? Is it better? I haven't tested the Crane 2. I want Jiwon Tech to send me one, but I have not received any Crane 2 yet. Maybe if I pressure them some more, they'll send me a Crane 2. Every other company has agreed to send me a gimbal for testing, except for Jiwon Tech for some odd reason. So they said that they're out of testing units, but I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, let's see what else we have here. Out time. Can you give away some? What do you think of the Jiwon Crane M? Oh, I can. You know what, guys? Listen. If you get me to 25,000 subscribers by November, I would be happy to give away a gimbal or two. I would be happy to give away a gimbal or two, but you need to get me to 25,000 subscribers. And at 25,000 subscribers, I'll do a gimbal giveaway. How does that sound? Okay? I might even let you choose the gimbal too. Depends how quickly we get up to 25,000. But it has to be by the end of November, otherwise this giveaway is not going to happen. Okay? Jamel says, I may have missed it if you've said it already. How do you balance the camera on this gimbal, and what is the weight capacity on this one? So I have a video on how to balance any camera on these sorts of gimbals. The balancing is exactly the same as the Jiwon Crane, all the other gimbals out there. It's exactly the same. Payload capacity, it says it's rated for 1,200 grams, which is not accurate. It's weighted. It's meant for heavier cameras. I would say about up to 2,000 grams. So about 4.5 pounds, I think, is the limit for this kind of gimbal. 1,200 grams is really light. This is, this is a 16-35 Zeiss lens with a Sony A9 attached to it. This is a heavy camera and a heavy setup. And on top of that, if I go to the lens and I press it down, it's fighting me pretty well. So I think that this gimbal can support at least up to, okay, let's say 1,800 grams, which is about 4 pounds. That's, I think, about, the weight limit of this, which is the same as the Jiwon Crane version 2. Okay? It's good enough for any basic DSLR with a, L-series lens if you're using Canon, but I'm telling you right now that my camera right now, A9 with a 16-35 attached, it's a very heavy setup. So, and this gimbal is not hesitating at all. Okay? So we're having a really nice, payload here. Lifetime of this gimbal. There is no rated lifetime of this gimbal. This gimbal was released probably 2 months ago. So, yeah. Shai Singh says, give away your Mavic. Oh, come on, man. You know I can't do that. Please have this camera in your giveaway. Red Epic. Yeah. Funny. Funny, funny, funny. What makes you think I would give away a Red Epic? Do you still use your Steadicam? GeoMovie is asking. Yes, I do still use. I have my manual Glidecam, Steadicams. I still use them. But this gimbal, like I said earlier, is probably the best hybrid out there since I'm able to control the roll like this. That's phenomenal. No other gimbal on the market can do that. No other gimbal on the market can do that. So that's something really special, and that's going to probably make me choose this gimbal over Glidecam on a lot of my shoots because it has that feature. And because of that, you know, Glidecams have that similar effect where the roll follows your movement. So I like that feature a lot on this gimbal. Now these motors that are used on this gimbal, they're high torque motors, and I can feel like the handle jerking whenever the motors reset. So if I move the camera here, the joystick is a little slow. I'm probably gonna have to increase the speed on that in the software. But if I press the home button, I feel the torque. I feel the torque of these motors. They're high torque motors, guys. So that's something that you gotta look for. It has definitely a lot more torque than the Jewin Crane. I would say out of all my gimbals, the Jewin Crane version 2 is the weakest gimbal I have, and it has the least amount of torque. This gimbal has a lot of torque, and I'm very happy with that. I'd be happy to have one of these gimbals. Well, my friend, get the word out about my channel. Get me to 25,000 subscribers by the end of next month, and you might as well have yourself a brand new gimbal. Because I have, literally guys, I'm looking at my storage area. I have no room. So I need to give away this equipment. I just have boxes piling up. And I have 2 new gimbals coming. 2 new gimbals. Why would a filmmaker need 8 different gimbals? That's ridiculous. I would only need 2. So maybe I can give away 6 gimbals. How does that sound? You never know. Get me to 25,000 subscribers. I'm going to give away at least 1 gimbal. So maybe, you know, start sharing my channel, guys. Let me give you a link that you can share for your with your friends. It's a special link that I can track. I can see who brings people to my channel. So let me get that ready for you. Okay. Techno says, I think the inverted mode is actually easier to transition to than on my Crane. Now look, let me show you something about the inverted mode on this gimbal, which I really, really like. So right now I'm in mode 1, basically means that it's following my pan, but it's not following my tilt, right? So the only way I can go into inverted mode is like this. Now, you can do some really creative shots by sweeping, so we would dolly in and then lift up. That's something you can't really do with, well, maybe you can, but I just like the way this gimbal does it better than all the other gimbals. I feel like that's a great way to go into inverted mode, to go low angle, and it sweeps up really nice and smoothly. I feel like with the Jewin Crane, it's going to be a little bit laggy when I do that. But just a little side note there. Have you ever tried a motorized dolly? Which do you recommend? So, Shy, I don't have a motorized dolly, but I do have a motorized slider, which is basically the same thing. Here's the thing. With a motorized slider or motorized dolly, you're going to get a lot more accuracy in your shots. But, again, the setup time is massive. So it all depends on your situation. If you're run and gun, if you want to get a quick setup time, yes, you definitely need to decide whether or not you have time to set up a dolly or a slider. My slider takes me about 15 minutes to set up. Even though that doesn't sound like much, it is a lot of time. This gimbal takes me about 2 to 3 minutes to set up if it's really unbalanced, but most of the time it is balanced, so it takes me maybe a minute to set up. So that's 10 minutes right there, at least 10 minutes of time that we can save, and 10 minutes is a lot of time, believe it or not. Trump fan says, does your new A9 work on it? Yes, my A9 is on this gimbal. Right now the logos are blocked with tape, so you can't really see it, but maybe if I do this, you can see the A9 logo right there. Yeah, that's the A9, my friends. Yep. And guys, so we have a plastic handle here, aerospace grade aluminum all over the motorized areas. Everything else is metal except for the handle. They did this because it's a comfort thing and it's a weight thing. We want this gimbal to be light and not bother us while we shoot. Okay, so that's what this is all about. Right. Another question from Techno Extreme. Which slider with motor do you recommend? Need to do some product shots and currently have a non-motorized slider. So a company from Poland called Varanus sent me a motorized slider. It's an expensive setup, you know, it's not cheap. It's around $1,400. And they sent me a 4-foot long slider with tilt motor, pan motor, and a slide motor. And it's all packed away. I can't really show you guys what it looks like right now, but I have footage of it. So if you look on my YouTube channel, click on the videos tab and type in Varanus, you're going to see all the videos I shot with that slider. So if you're curious, take a look at those videos. Right on. But yeah, that's currently what's going on. Any more questions, my friends? This is a good live stream. So here's what's going to happen in the next week or two. I'm going to be comparing the top 3 gimbals on the market, the top 3, which is the Moswa Air, Jewin Crane version 2, and the Feiyutech A2000. Those are the top 3 right now. This gimbal, unfortunately, does not fall into that category because the company is not popular enough. But I might bring it into the mix as like a little bonus round. So maybe. But I will definitely be comparing that. I will also be comparing the Came TV Argo because that is the biggest gimbal I own. And it also runs off of Basecam software. Okay? So we have a lot of footage to shoot in the coming weeks, guys. A lot of footage. If you have any suggestions for future tutorial videos that you want to see, please let me know. But in the next coming weeks, this channel is mainly going to be focusing on gimbal technology because I'm overwhelmed with the amount of gimbals I have. I have 3 gimbals that I have to review right now. I have the Feiyutech A2000 review will be coming out on Friday morning. Then next Monday, I'll have a review coming out on the Jewin Smooth Q, which is the iPhone gimbal. And then after that, I have to review the FOSICAM gimbal. And then after that, I have 2 new gimbals. They're not here yet, but 2 new gimbals will be arriving that I have to review as well. And then I have audio equipment that I have to review because audio is just as important as video. So stay tuned for all that. We have a ton of content coming. You guys have no idea. It's so overwhelming, but it's awesome. Techno Extreme says Varanus. Yes, that's Varanus is actually a type of lizard. So yes, that is how you spell it. Halvin Wolf was asking how was shooting with Vern. Oh yeah, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, I work with Vern Troyer, who is the actor who plays Mini-Me in Austin Powers. I've been working with him for quite some time, a little bit over a year, and we shot some awesome stuff. He's a great guy. I can't talk too much about the video that we shot because it hasn't been released yet. I'm editing it tomorrow, so stay tuned for it. It's going to be released when it will be released. I can't really give you a date, but it should be released pretty soon. So if you want to go to his channel and subscribe with the notifications on, you'll be notified when the video is released. But yeah, that's what I'm currently working on with Vern. On Friday, I have a Rob Riches video that I'm going to be shooting, so that's exciting, up in Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, California. And I might be showcasing the gimbal in that video. I might be using it. I haven't decided yet. I actually might be using... No, I'm going to be using the Moswa Air for the Rob Riches video because it has the dual handle system. So the Moswa Air will be my gimbal of choice when I shoot with clients like at the gym and stuff like that. It's such an easy, quick setup. I used to shoot with the Came TV Argo, but that gimbal is so large and massive. It's very difficult to assemble, disassemble. It takes a lot of time. The Moswa Air, small case, very small setup time, 2 minutes. So far, the Moswa Air is the easiest gimbal to balance. Never had an issue balancing that gimbal. The FOSICAM comes in 2nd place, 3rd place, the Came TV Argo, 4th place, the Jewin Crane, and last is the Feiyutech A2000. Now, why is the Feiyutech A2000 such a difficult gimbal to balance? That's because of that quick release plate that they designed for the system. It's not consistent when it slides. I mean, they put in these little grooves that are supposed to move at notches at a time, but it's so inconsistent. But you can fix this by putting your own quick release plate on top of their quick release plate, but that makes the gimbal heavier, bulkier, and then you have to disassemble it. So I prefer a simple mounting area like this one here. That's all you really need. You just need a mounting platform and a screw. That's it. I don't know why gimbal manufacturers think that it's easier to install a quick release system. It's really not. This is the best quick release system ever. This is all you need. The platform and a screw, just like what the Moswa Air has. That's all you need. Because that way I can balance the gimbal so fast, it's crazy. It's a lot faster than using a quick release plate, in my opinion. I'm just used to not using a quick release plate with gimbals. Geo Movie says, gotta sleep now. See ya. It's 2:30 a.m. See you later, my friend. Shai is asking, have you heard anything about a new Osmo coming out talking about gimbals? Nothing yet on the new Osmo. DJI, knowing DJI and studying their product line and stuff like that, they're not going to release anything that's going to allow you to use your own camera. So if they're going to release a new Osmo, it's going to be with their proprietary camera technology. They're not going to release anything like this where you can mount your own camera. They want you to buy from DJI and DJI only. So that's their motive. But if a new Osmo were to come out, my thing would be that it's going to, you know, they're going to come out probably with a better, you know, camera, larger sensor, similar to the Phantom 4 sensor, Phantom 4 Pro. We're also going to get better battery life because an hour, 2 hours is ridiculous. These gimbals get at least 10 hours of battery life. So the Osmo has to keep up with that. So yeah, that's what I think. Can I perform slider shots with the gimbal? I shoot weddings and sliders take long to set up. Yes, my friend. You missed out on one of my best videos, and that was hooking up a tripod to your hooking up a gimbal to your tripod to simulate a slider. So this is what I'm going to do for you because I'm so nice. I'm going to find that video, I'm going to post the link, and you're going to watch it, okay? Watch it after the live stream, and let me know what you think, because I think this is such a great way to use your gimbal if you want to incorporate those beautiful, smooth sliding moves in your shots, okay? So let's find that video. Meanwhile, while I do that, guys, go ahead and ask some more questions. Let's see what comes up here. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. So yeah, let me get this video. It's coming up. It's somewhere here. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, I found it. Okay, so this is the video that you're gonna have to watch if you want to learn how to get those sliding moves. Techno Extreme, Shy, here you go. That's one of the videos there. And now you're asking, meaning the mobile lets you use your own camera. Yes, please post the video. What are your thoughts on the Crane 2 from Charles? Charles, great question, my friend. Listen, I like the idea, I like the concept. Do I like the design? I don't. I don't like the design. They made the gimbal extremely bulky. The form factor is so massive now. Like, that really defeats the purpose of using a single-handed gimbal. I want something like this. This is something I can put into my camera bag and just take with me everywhere I go. The Juin Crane 2 cannot fit in any camera bag. It's so bulky and massive. It has to be carried around in its own case. They should have kept the same form factor as the version 2 gimbal. The follow focus wheel is kind of useless to me because I only use Sony cameras, and the follow focus system does not work on Sony cameras, so it's useless to me. What they should have done is made the wheel detachable. So for people like me who use Sony cameras, we can easily remove the wheel and not use it, because that wheel takes up a lot of space. And if you watched a lot of my tutorial videos on gimbals, you'll know that I like to evenly distribute weight through 2 hands. one hand on top of the gimbal, one hand on the bottom of the gimbal, and that's how I shoot. With that wheel there, you can't really grab the top portion of the handle. It's really obtrusive and it's bulky and I don't like it. So they should have made that wheel detachable. But when it comes to battery life, yes. When it comes to stability, yes, it's fantastic. When it comes to payload, fantastic. But the app is broken. They need to fix the app. The time-lapse functions are completely junk and useless, unfortunately. I mean, I bought the Juin crane. They didn't send it to me. So I bought it with my own money. And I'm just, I'm letting you know right now, the app is not great. It's not a good app. The Mulswa Air and the Feiyutech A2000 so far have the best applications for time lapses and for just overall controlling your camera and gimbal. Those are the top two companies when it comes down to software. The Mulswa Air has a slight edge over the Feiyutech A2000 when it comes down to the app. So I'll tell you that right now. So far, out of all the gimbals, the quietest one I own is the Feiyutech A2000. I think they have the best algorithm out of all of my gimbals. It's the most accurate gimbal, I think, that I have. It doesn't jerk like the Juin crane does at times. I mean, their algorithm is spot on. And no matter how much I jerk the gimbal around, I haven't heard it make a sound once. Usually you hear like a slight hum from the motors, but that gimbal is so damn quiet, I can't hear anything out of that thing. So they did something right. And hopefully they'll release a firmware update, or maybe they'll create a version 2 of that gimbal where the payload capacity goes up, because I would like to put like an FS5, FS7 with a dual handle system on there. And that would be a great gimbal. Techno Extreme says, tongue-in-cheek here, but maybe they won't send you one because you're a Sony user and they are not working with Sony, which they should, and you have panned it a bit. What do you mean by panned it a bit? No, Juin Tech endorses my content. I mean, they've posted my tutorials before, so they like the content I put out. And there's another YouTube user, a few YouTube users that only use Sony cameras, and they sent the gimbal to them as well. So I think it's because I asked for it too late. If I were to ask for it months in advance, I think I would have gotten the gimbal. I might still get it. I really might still get it, but I'm just so overwhelmed with the current gimbals I have, and I have a new gimbal coming that's supposed to destroy the Crane 2, so I already know like what the Crane 2 is all about, in my opinion. So I probably don't even need to test it because of all the footage I've seen and me already owning the Crane version 2, I know exactly how it's going to perform. Charles Davis is asking, what was this gimbal again? So this is, let me turn it back on. This is the FOSICAM FM1-45 gimbal. Let me go ahead and send you the link to it so you can check it out. It's about 500 bucks. Give me a second, let me find the link for you. And by the way, if we reach 25,000 subscribers by the end of November, I will be giving away a gimbal. So this is what I'm going to do. I want you guys to share this link with all your friends. And this is a special link. I'll be able to track the analytic data from it. So I'll be able to see who uses this link and who brings people to my channel. So use this link. And let's get this channel to 25,000 people by the end of next month, and you will be getting a new gimbal. How does that sound? It sounds pretty fair, right? Oh yeah, I wanted to get you the Amazon link to the FM1-45 from FOSICAM. So the company name, FOSICAM. Let me turn it around. FOSICAM. That's the name. FOSICAM. FOSICAM. Brand new company. So let me get this gimbal link for you. Okay. It's loading, guys. Sorry about that. Techno Extreme says, said some honest things, but not really that flattering considering something will destroy it at one point. The Crane was the only affordable gimbal with good performance. The Crane is not the only affordable gimbal with good performance. I think the Moswa Air and the Feitek A2000, the A2000 is probably the most expensive one, but the Moswa Air is much more affordable and it performs just as well. So, see, my neck is cracking from all the videos I'm shooting. So let me get this link over to you guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here is... Alright guys, so here is the FOSICAM FM1-45 link. Go ahead and check out that link. And this will, let me know if that link went through. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't allow me to post links. So look in the description box right now, guys. I'm going to post it in the description box. Yeah, it's going to update in a few seconds. So go ahead, look in the description box. I posted the link in there. And you'll be able to check out the gimbal. Make sure that you let me know that you see the link in the description box, okay? Otherwise, I don't know that it's working. But I posted the link to the FOSICAM FM1-45 in the description box, okay? And remember, use that link I shared with you a while earlier because you're gonna get a pretty good chance of winning a gimbal if you do. And I haven't decided yet, but I might let you choose the gimbal. Cane TV Argo, FOSICAM, Jew and Crane. These are expensive gimbals, guys. They're not cheap. So you get me to 25,000 and you got yourself a new gimbal, okay? All right. Alvin Wolf says it's in the description. Awesome, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So yeah, in the coming weeks, we're going to have a lot of gimbal footage, a lot of gimbal review videos coming. So make sure you subscribe with channel notifications on. Channel notifications will get you that update on when I release new content. So make sure you do that. It's that little bell icon next to the subscribe button. So make sure that you press that bell icon. Techno Extreme says, would be cool, especially with your experience, for you to review some of the new wearable gimbals for the GoPro 6, Sony action cameras. I have to do an in-car video from a 1/10 scale RC car. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, so currently I don't own any action cameras. I got a request to do a review video on this Chinese company that makes action cameras, but I didn't follow through with it. I was just way too busy at the time. So maybe, yeah, let me think about that. I already have the Smooth Q gimbal, which is meant for GoPro and iPhone. Maybe a wearable gimbal would be nice to review too. So let me stay up to date with that. Let me stay current with that, and let me see what I can do. Thank you for the request. I appreciate that, because wearable gimbals are pretty big right now, so we'll see what happens with that. Any more requests, my friends? Any more video requests, suggestions? Is there anything I'm doing that you don't like? Please let me know. Negative feedback is positive feedback in my view, as long as it's productive feedback. So please let me know. I always like negative feedback as long as it is productive. If that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So any more questions about this gimbal, guys? Let me know. We have a few minutes left before I end the live stream, so you can ask any last-minute questions. Like I said, this runs off of Basecam software. It's great software if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really mess up the gimbal. And let's go into lock mode. Show you guys how that works. You know what? Let me show you the software and what it looks like. So the software comes in two versions. It comes on iOS, for your iPhone. I don't know if it's available on Android yet. Probably not. But let me show you what this looks like. So this company is called Basecam that makes the software, and FOSICAM takes that software and incorporates it into the circuitry of the gimbal. Okay, and the software comes onto your computer, both for Mac and Windows, so you can hook up the gimbal manually to your computer, and you can also use the Bluetooth module that's built into the gimbal and wirelessly connect it to the software that is on your phone. So let me go ahead and do that right now, and I'm going to show you how that looks like. So here's the dashboard of the software. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. And you know, we can control the gimbal if we want, you know, using this right here. It's not a user-friendly application, unfortunately, but I mean, as long as you don't mess with the actual settings, which I'll show you what they look like, you should have a functioning gimbal. We also have battery life up here, that bar right there, that's all battery life. And what's interesting about Basecam software is that whenever you load it into your computer, as a safety precaution, I recommend that you save each shooting profile. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. For those of you who are new to Basecam software, don't worry about it. I don't recommend you hooking up your gimbal to the computer. That's a very bad mistake. So yeah, don't do that. Save your profiles. If you do know what I'm talking about, save your profiles as soon as you hook it up to the computer. That way, if you do screw something up, you'll be able to reset the gimbal to its normal settings. So what do these settings look like? I'll show you in just a second. Stabilization settings. So we have PID settings. That's what they're called. The G1 Crane and Fadetech A2000 and Mosuo Air have their own proprietary software, but it's basically all based off of the same type of, you know, algorithm. But the Basecam software allows you to go into programming everything manually. You know, there's no manual or factory reset button, which is bad. That's why it's very important that you don't mess up the numbers here, because if you do something bad, your gimbal's going to trip out, and it's going to be very difficult to restore unless you have those saved profiles from the beginning. Yeah, so this is the PID settings right here. PID, so basically we're talking about the power of each motor, how long, yeah, so the power of each motor, the dampening of each motor, like how smooth do you want the motors to come to a complete stop. And the I is how quickly you want the motor to reset to center. So that's basically, I is basically speed. Power is power, D is dampening. So that's what that is, okay? I don't know what the I stands for, but I just know what it does. And that is controlling the gimbal and making sure that it goes back to center at a certain speed. Okay. Halvin Wolf is asking, do you have a 10 to 18 f4? I don't. I don't have a 10 to 18 f4. I don't think I'll ever go that wide, to be honest. I already have a 16 and I have a 14, so I don't need to go that wide. But if I did, I'd definitely do a review on it. Okay, but yeah, guys, that is the FOSICAM FM1-45. If you're interested in getting this gimbal even before I release my full review video on it, click on the link in the description box below, because that's where you're going to find out all the details on there. Again, if you like the content that I share with you, please, 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 please share this channel with your friends and family. Get this channel viral. Okay, my numbers have dropped recently because of the weird YouTube algorithms changing all the time. So please help bring this channel back to life. Bring the numbers back up. Let's get up to 25,000 subscribers next month. Let's set that as a deal, and you guys will be able to enter yourselves in for a chance to win one of these gimbals. So 25,000 subs next month. I think we can do it. Let's try and do it. Yeah, you guys will be getting some film equipment from me. Alright? And if you don't want a gimbal, I have other things I can give away. Okay? So yeah, consider that, my friends. Consider that. Any last minute questions before we take off here? I want to answer every single question that you guys may have. Please let me know. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Nothing, no questions, that's it. That's it. Well, hello everyone who is just tuning in. We have a few new people coming in right now. We were talking about a new gimbal from FOSICAM. This is it right here. Brand new gimbal, just arrived. And it has all the basic shooting modes like any other gimbal. But we also have this cool Glidecam option. And Glidecam option, I mean, it follows our roll whenever we do those cool leans. So this is especially great for like those cinematic and like those weird abstract shots. This is something that you could really use. I mean, look at that. It just follows your roll. The other gimbals would just stay fixed, but this thing, it just follows my roll. I love it. Yeah. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Don't forget to give it a like, share it with your friends, share this channel with your friends, and if you'd like, you can make a donation by sending me a super chat, pressing that dollar icon, and making a small donation to this channel. Helps out a lot. It helps out me create more videos for you guys for free. Don't ever want to charge you, but donations are always welcome. As they help me support the channel, support the content, and all that good stuff. So please feel free to throw me a super chat and share this channel with your friends. Let's go on for a little bit longer. Let's make this another hour live stream. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Now is the time. No questions? Nothing at all? We went through a lot of content today, guys. A lot of content. That's it? Alright, guys. Well, then I will be signing off right now. Thank you again for watching. Share the channel. Make a donation if you can by throwing me a super chat. And I will talk to you very, very soon. Okay? I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. I just said that. Alright, guys. Have fun filmmaking and send me your work and we'll talk about it. Alright, guys. Bye-bye.